Hi everyone, I'm Joanne. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Alberta, Canada, and I wanted to stop by today and show you two different versions of the same card. Many times new stampers don't have a die cutting machine, so I thought that I would show you a version that just uses a cutting trimmer to make this card. This is two that I did for a swap. So basically these are cut out with a die cutting machine and dies, but I'll show you a different version today that doesn't use the die cutting machine and looks equally as nice. If you would like to purchase the items that are for making these cards or anything else in your crafting life that you would need, we have alcohol markers, paper of different kinds that is very high quality, and embellishments, ink pads, all that sort of thing for paper crafting needs. So my Stampin' Up! Website is https //lighthousegreetings.stampinup.net, and my blog is www.lighthousegreetings.ca. So you can visit either one of those and you'll get the information you need to connect with me. And so I'll put that aside for now and I'll start to show you these little cards. They stand up and they have a flip-flop feature on the front. So I'll put those aside and I'll show you the version that I'm doing for you today. So I've already pre-cut some items and I'll show you how to make this little card. So the first thing that you will need, of course, is a paper trimmer. I think if you're doing any paper crafting projects, you're going to need a good trimmer, and Stampin' Up! Sells a really good one. So I'll just show you. This particular card is 4 1/4 by 11, and we scored at 5 1/2. And 2 1/8. The next step is to make another mark at the 2 1/8 mark. So I'm going to line that up in this little trough to get the proper measurement for 2 1/8. Better if I move it down here a little. And I'm going to make a pencil mark at the 2 1/8 mark right here. Okay, so the next step, we'll put that trimmer aside and I'm going to fold and burnish each of those edges. So we have this card like this, and then we're going to burnish it at the 2 1/8 mark as well. Next step is I'm actually going to, I see that the paper was a little longer, so I'm going to trim that off first. The next step is to line up your 2 1/8 mark with the edge of your score line right here. And because these paper trimmers will cut through 2 layers of paper, I don't need to do it individually. I can do it all at once. Pressing down firmly, and in the other direction as well. So put those aside. We can use those for another project later on. And we have our card that stands like this, and this side here we're going to burnish it in the other direction as well, and that will give this card a flip-flop feature. So I cut these pieces of paper out to go on the front, the same as this card here, and these measurements are 2 1/2 by 3 1/2. Both are cut to the same size, and I use my paper trimmer for that. I'm going to wrap a little piece of ribbon around the second piece of card, and sometimes I will just attach 2 pieces of ribbon so that I don't use so much ribbon that you can't see, so that the back of the card is not covered in ribbon. And I will tie that like so. And okay, so the next step, I will use this adhesive, wrong way. So what I'm going to do first is attach the front piece to the second piece and line it up evenly so that it's nicely spaced on the second layer of cardstock. Okay, I'm just going to snip this little bit off of here. There. No one will be the wiser. Now, we'll attach this to my piece of cardstock so that I'm looking at the spacing here and the spacing over here to get a nice even, so that it goes down evenly. Okay. Now, the second part to this is to attach this piece and my little second piece of paper. So the first thing I'm going to do is grab my stamp set. So most of the stuff that you'll see today is made from this Prettiest Birthday set. You can leave this part out if you want, but just to keep it consistent, I thought I'd grab the stamp set that I originally used to use that little stamp. And its friends are like seashells, and I'm using this little one right here. So I'll just put it on my trusty block. Grab my Flirty Flamingo ink pad. Ink that up. It's just kind of to anchor the macarons and the gift bag on the paper. So what I've done is I've stamped using Memento black ink, which is a basic ink that is used for most of black stamping with Stampin' Up. And the reason we use this is because it doesn't bleed when you color it with the alcohol markers. And that works really well for that. So I'm just going to attach that on there. So what I've done is I've colored these little macarons with my Stampin' Blend markers. This is light So Saffron, and if you wanted to add more detail, you can go over the edges with the dark and blend it. I didn't do that, I just basically colored it. The other color that I used was Flirty Flamingo, and the pink that you see is that this Flirty Flamingo is also the color of this cardstock and this cardstock. So I'm just going to put that one straight down on this little piece of paper. And the next one, I'm going to, the little bag, I'm going to lift up, and I'll show you how I do that. So this one, I'm going to show you how we color with the Stampin' Blend markers. So I have the light So Saffron here. I'm going to color in all this tissue paper. If you wanted to up it a little notch, you could actually cut out a piece of tissue paper and attach it to the top of where the tissue paper is shown on the bag. So now we, in order to give it some dimension, go over the edges where you would think that the light would hit on that tissue paper. and give it some shadow. And you can already see a little bit of difference between where the light is and the dark. And now we'll go over with the light again and blend the two together so that you can't see where one ends and the other one begins. There. I'm going to do the same with the base of the bag. So I'm going to, this is the light, so this time I'm just going to go over the edges with the light. And then the dark. Going over the edges a little bit. I should be using the fine point end instead of the thicker end, but it's just for demonstration purposes. So, and then we'll blend everything together with the light, and you'll see that the line will disappear pretty much, and it'll all blend together. The great thing about alcohol markers too is you don't see lines and streaks once it's finished. And there we have the shading on the bag. There you go. And to show you that we don't need die cuts, I decided to stamp this on a scrap piece of paper, and I'm going to cut it out. I have it partially done for you, and I'm just going to what we call fussy cutting. So basically you just cut around the edge of the image with your scissors, leaving a small white border so you can see the detail. You need that little border if you're cutting something that has fur or that sort of thing. So there's our little bag. Now to raise this little bag up, I'm going to use some dimensionals. These are foam adhesive sticky foam pieces, and they basically raise the image off the paper a little. So I'm going to put that bag right about right here. We'll attach this to the base. That evenly. There we go. I'm going to attach this now to the card front. So we're lining these points here and here up with the score line on the base of the card, and making sure that we're even around the edge or close to it. There we go. Go. So I have these little pearl embellishments. They'll look pretty on there. Two there. I'm going to put one over here. And I'm not sure where that little greeting went. Okay, well, I'll trim this other one that I stamped that I wasn't quite pleased with how dark it was, so I'll use that one instead. using dimensionals. I'll pop that up. These are the mini dimensionals. They also have a larger version of those. So there's my original with the die cuts, and there's my second version of the same card using just a trimmer and the products from the Stampin' Up! Line, just to show you that both cards are very nice. And if you want to, on this one, I also added this triangle, which is basically the same dimensions as the front. This larger one, I think I forgot to say that this one is 2.5 by 2.5, and this one is 2 by 2. So basically I did the same thing again, using this as the other half of that square, just to add some detail to the inside of the card. And so there's this one, and oh, you know what I've done? Forgot to mention. When you glue this down, only glue this edge of the point. You don't put glue on both halves of the card. So it looks like I have a card that's not going to work the way it should. But that's okay. Maybe next time. But you'll see that I've just done it to show you that both cards are very nice, using the simplest of products. Thank you. I hope you have a good day, and I hope this was helpful to you. Please visit my website if you would like to know more, or my Stampin' Up! Website if you'd like to order any of these products. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Bye.